This is the first time I've turned the new scanner on. It's the Launch Pro Mini S. I created my account online the other night. Unit's just turned up. I've just typed in all the serial numbers and the activation code, and it's logged straight into the website for Launch, and it's now doing its updates. So I'm just going to leave it, see how long it takes. But it seems to be going along quite nicely. I'll bring you back when it's finished and we'll go and take it out in the car and see how it performs against the let's see what I think of it. Initial. We've got Autel DS808 and Launch Pro Mini S x431. We're going to compare the two scanners and see what each one does on a Toyota Yaris hybrid. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn them both on. That one's booting up. Let's just see which one boots the quickest. Not forgetting the Autel was turned on last. I would say the Autel was actually quicker. Right, so you've booted it up and you go traditional diagnose. You've got all your choices: American, European, Chinese, Asian. I'm in a Toyota, so we're going to go Asian and pick Toyota. Pick Toyota's software. I'm using the OBD2 socket, so we're on 16 pin. And I'm going to do an auto search, and it's found the vehicle. You're given a few choices, you pick your choices. It loads its program. And I'm going to do a health report and scan every single ECU on the car that's available and see how many there are. This scanner seems to be hanging on the tyre pressure monitor. We'll see what the Autel does afterwards. I think the tyre pressure monitor ECU is quite slow on these Toyotas. It's finally done it. Well, that's taken us 3 minutes and 20 from selecting the car to scanning. And here is your fault report. It gives me my business details, all the details on the car, time it was scanned, chassis number, reading on the odometer, and it tells me there's no faults on any of the ECUs, and it scanned 14 ECUs. So let's save that report. Which it has done. Okay, so I'm going to back out of here now because I'm going to swap scanners. So I'm going to turn the camera off, plug the Autel in and see how the Autel does. What that's telling me there is, don't forget to take the dongle with you. We're going to do the same test with the Autel that we did with the launch, a full system scan. So diagnose, pick your car, auto select, read the VIN, got the VIN, okay. We're in Europe, cars between 2015 2017. This is the same as the launch up to now. There's the vehicle, confirm. It's talking to the car. It's reading the battery voltage. This seems to be taking a little bit longer. So we want to go diagnose and we want to do an auto scan. And this flew through the tyre pressure monitor. Well, the launch was slow on the tyre pressure monitor. This was a little bit slower getting into the system. Again, we got 14 computers. So let's have the report off the Autel. Let us save the file. Now, the launch auto-filled all this. I had to give it a name. So I think they're much of a muchness in the respect of being able to do a systems report, boot up times. Just the launch seems to hang on the tyre pressure monitor. Right, we're back on the Autel and we're in what they call the hot functions, which are the quick access things. So I'm going to see what the Autel does in comparison to the launch. But before we have a look at them, in the bag of goodies that came with the launch, there's the cable that comes out of the Autel. It's an extension cable that you can put into your OBD2 socket. Because I'm running 2 scanners today, what it's going to mean is I'm not going to keep diving down to plug one module in, one module out. I can do my connection here. So I'm using the launch's extension cable for these next couple of parts of the video. So in the hot function, I know that function is not supported on this Toyota because there is no service light on the dashboard. Tyre pressure monitor is for registering new sensors and checking them. I've not tried battery on the, that's not supported on the Autel. It's not supported on the Autel. Brake bleed, that I know is supported on the Autel. I know it works, we've used it. Mobilizers and keys, we know that works. They're not programmable injectors on this Toyota, you just put them in and away you go. But it doesn't work on this. Steering angle sensor. Throttle learning values when you change throttle body, I know that works. And that's another function not supported on the Autel. Another one that's not supported. Okay, so there's 8, 9 different things you can do on this. And we've found out we can't do oil reset because it's not supported on the car. Battery, the Autel doesn't do it. It does the tyre pressures, it does the brake bleed, it does the keys. Doesn't do injectors because they're not programmable injectors. They will be on the diesel, but not on this one. Do steering angle, we can do throttle relearn, and we can get into... Can we get into that? No, we can't get into that one either. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we can use on the Toyota. So let's take the Autel out of the equation and put the launch back on. Right, we're going to do the same thing, do what Autel call hot functions, launch call special functions. So we're going to do special functions. And we'll go through each one individually and see what this does in comparison to the Autel. This one asks you to choose a car. What's it saying? It's found the VIN. It's telling me it's not supported. So let's come out of this. Let's try another one. Might have to get into these a different way on the launch. Again, it's telling me it's not supported. So that could be a ball ache. Let's go back into traditional. We're on Asian cars. We're on a Toyota. Let's skip that. Let's just go straight into Yaris, knowing that's the car we're using off the history. It's just another way in. If you've scanned a certain car in the past, click on history, all the cars will come up. Let's go and pick. Where were we? Let's go all systems. I'm gonna go main body, because I suspect that's where the battery is. Oh no, hybrid, wasn't it? I've come back out too far. That was my fault, people. I'm still learning this tool. Go back into my control units, go back into all systems, back into my hybrid. Because that's where the batteries are hidden. And special functions, and that is initialization. Welcome to the battery current sensor initialization function. This function is used to reset the learned values in the hybrid control ECU and replacing battery. We're not going to do it. Okay, I'm going back into main body. Special functions, customization and initialization. What we initializing in this one? The function is used to initialize the gateway ECU so that it will continue to set DTCs if any. Oh, we'll clear the gate. Right, we're not going into that yet. Let's see what we've got in the engine. Got a funny feeling we might have more. Now, oil reset is in here. I know it won't work. It's not something my car does. Let's see if we've got brake bleeding here. Special functions. Brake bleeding. Yes, so we do have brake fluid replacement program and brake bleeding in here. Some of the hot functions are in different places. Where the Autel, you can get into them through the hot functions. On this car you have to go into them a different way. Doesn't matter. You've got to learn a new tool. That's why we play with them. Take them out on a vehicle that you're familiar with. See what it'll do. Because it can tie you up in knots going into the hot functions and finding you can't do something. Yep. Again, same thing as the Autel does. You can initialize new sensors. So I think all the functions are in there, they're in a different place. Well, now I'm going to go into the engine ECU and I want to monitor some data. And what I want to monitor is fuel trims. Let's have the oil temperature. We got coolant temp. Long-term fuel trim. And short-term fuel trim. And we'll just have them. Another nice function of this is you can graph, and the graphs are really surprisingly quick, and you can also combine your graphs, and at the bottom there is a legend that tells you what colour is doing what. And you can go back to your values. So I've got coolant temp, engine oil, long term and fuel term on the launch. So I'm going to plug the Autel back in and we'll do the same ECU and see what options we've got on that. So here we are, we're back on the launch. Pick a control unit, engine, and live data. I'm going to pick the same PIDs I had last time, which was coolant temperature when it selects, short term fuel trim, long term fuel trim. Let's see if I can find oil temperature on this one. engine oil temperature when it selects, and show. So again, we've got the same PIDs, slightly different order, but they're all there. Engine temperature, oil temperature, I've got this one set in Celsius, and the fuel trims. Graphing on this is a little bit different. Just start the engine and show you the fuel trims, and there they go. Let's give the car some more heat so the engine will carry on running without me putting my foot on the throttle, and they'll drop. The refresh rate's very, very quick on both of the tools. I think the graphing function on the launch is better than on the Autel. You can have big graphs on the ES, but I don't know if you can combine them. So they are comparable. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of these two units? Well, they're both very, very good units on this car. They both do what I'm expecting them to do. Still got to do some learning on this one, on the launch. I pretty much know what the Autel can do. I've used it on many, many cars. Launch I've only had it for a day, so I'm still learning it. I'm going to use it more and more and compare it to the DS808. But there's one big advantage with the launch. It's portable. You don't have to be sat in the car with it. Bluetooth dongle. That's the big advantage. Launch, yes, you've got to be sat in the car unless you've got an extension, which I'm lucky I have. You're sat in the car doing all your diagnostics. Sometimes you need to be outside the car when you're doing it, so for that, it's definitely, the launch is a win for portability. The screens are comparable in size. It's just the launch is only in portrait, the Autel is only in landscape, so it's horses for courses. They're much of a muchness. The quality of the screens is very good. I would say the touchscreen capability on the launch is better than the Autel. The Autel responds better to a pen or a pointer. The launch is good with your finger. So they've both got disadvantages and advantages, but the biggest one is the launch is portable. You can be out of the car whilst you're doing things. Particularly if you're doing actuation tests and you want to be under the car or under the bonnet whilst you're doing it. It's not so easy to do with the Autel. But they're both very, very capable scanners. This one probably does things that the Autel doesn't. The Autel probably does things the launch doesn't. but we'll find that out in the goodness of time. Very happy with the launch. I'm very happy with the Autel as well. It's my second Autel. I've got a 708 as well. I've also got modus, snap-on modus, which I gave up on the updates from about 2014. They were just getting too expensive, but I can't get rid of the snap-on. It does OBD1, which I know I can't get to work on the Autel, and I don't know about the launch yet. I do need to find out if this will do OBD1, because I know that won't. Anyhow, that's me done for the day. Bye, hope you've enjoyed this, hope you found some useful information. It comes in a nice box as well, fair dues to them. With various OBD1 adapters. Maybe it does do OBD1, I don't know. The old GM 12 port, the old Honda 3, Toyota's old 17, they're 22. Why I got a Chrysler one, I don't know. And then I've got the 20 pin BM one and the Mercedes one, numerous power cables, extension lead to go into my OBD2 port for putting the Bluetooth dongle into. That could be handy, but I tend to just chuck them in. Anyway, that's what you get in the box. And then the old scanner is very well protected. When I can get it in, I'm trying to do all this, I will admit, with a broken wrist. There we are. I forgot to mention, so when you're carrying it around, you've got a good grip on the back. Anyhow, that is the launch. Well, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to go for a little drive now. I'm going to monitor some data and record it. And all I'm going to monitor is wheel speed sensors and vehicle speed in the ABS module. Again, you can either have it in values or as individual graphs or one big graph. I'm going to put it into one big graph and I'm going to record it. And I'm going to drive, and I'll show you the graph once I've had my drive and show you what data it's recorded. Right, the launch has been recording for a few minutes now, so we'll stop it, knock it off the steering wheel where I had it propped up. I'll save the file. I'll back out and we'll go to the reports. And all my reports are in there. That's the report I want. No, that's not the report I want. That was the health report. Diagnostic record, that's the one I want. There's the date and the time, so it's that one I want. And them are the 5 parameters I picked. Wheel speed sensors, so I'll select them all. Hit submit. And hit play. And you can either watch them in numerical format, or I can go back to single graphs, or I can go back to my combine. It saves that much information. And you can see the information scrolling. This is an ACE function for looking at ABS sensors when you think you might have one that's gone down, because you can compare the individual sensors. You can just watch all 4 of them together and see how they're all reacting, and see if there's any dropouts on them. You always get a discrepancy between wheel speed sensors. It's only slight. The rears never seem to be reading as fast as the fronts, and then when you go around a corner, one front will read a different speed to the other one, but that's because that's how a differential works. But as you can see, yeah, it does graph, monitor and record, saves the files, they're all accessible. It's all information you need to gather when you're doing a diagnostic check on a car. You can go back after you've done your test drive and you can show the customer the results. You can screen record them and send them a video file of the results. You can share the health report with them. You can share a health report, which I always do after I've done a diagnostics and fixed something. I'll do a second health report after the repair to show them faults before the repair, results found doing the diagnostics like this, fix, clear the codes, go out, do another test drive, gather more information, do another health report, and share all the information with the customer to say, look, that's the faults we found, these are the faults we fixed. So if they come back in 2 or 3 weeks and say, oh, I've got a fault on my car, you can say, look, it's not related to the fault that we had before, it's a new fault. So it's all about gathering data. You've always got all your proof. You can say, oh, last fault was ABS, this is an engine management fault. It's not the same as the fault you brought to me last time. Save information, show your customers information. It's the only way to cover yourself. So health reports, no faults. We've done our diagnostic record here, which is my little drive checking the ABS sensors and the wheel speed. All data you need to gather. The more data you gather for your customer and for yourself to cover yourself, the better. I hope that's shown you some of the things the launch can do. I know the Autel can do this as well, but it just seems a lot easier to do on the launch. And the fact there's no cables. I can throw this on the seat whilst I'm driving. The dongle is out the way. It's on its extension cable, it's in the door pocket. That's the big advantage of this launch. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you've gleaned some information. Thank you.